I was like, this fucking guy's terrifying. He was just different. He was just different. Like, the power was different. The style was different. It's a weird style. Hands down, weird movement. Like, but super technical, man. Like, confusing. Like, you see him, you say, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He just hits hard. Negative. Incorrect. Completely unique style. Very technical and very well thought out.
Joe Rogan has just reacted to Alex Pereira's latest training footage ahead of the UFC White House card. And while most fans are focusing on the power, the speed, and the terrifying highlights making the rounds online, Rogan seems to believe there may be a much bigger story developing beneath the surface.
He's got solutions to everything. He was showing me and DC how he checks leg kicks, and we had a conversation about it. Can we talk about this? Can we tell people this?
What do you say?
No, me and DC did. Like, I don't know. We decided. I don't think we should tell people.
Yeah.
He's got a special way that he checks leg kicks.
Yep.
Was different than everybody else's. He's got a whole strategy behind it. We were like, oh shit. So he was showing us. So we're at the mothership. Me and DC and Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira's kicking our legs, and he's showing us how to check. He's showing us how he checks and what he does to follow up check. He's got a system. Of it is his hands are as big as a fucking watermelon.
Really?
His hands are giant, man. He's got this weird frame. Dudes with big hands have crazy power. Like Tony Ferguson. Ferguson has big ass hands. And if you look at Pereira, he's like this long arms, these big giant fucking hammers at the end of his wrists. He's different, man.
Because the closer this fight gets, the more it feels like Alex Pereira isn't simply preparing for another opponent. Instead, it looks like he's preparing for one of the most important moments of his entire career. And if that's true, the future of the heavyweight division could be about to change in a very dramatic way. He's already achieved more than most fighters could ever dream of. Multiple world titles, massive knockout victories, championship success across different combat sports, a global fan base, a legacy that was already secured long before conversations about heavyweight super fights even started appearing. Yet despite all of that, Pereira somehow continues carrying himself like a man who still has something to prove.
What do you make of Alex Pereira talking about becoming a 3 divisions, trying to take that belt from you? Would you entertain that?
Well, listen to this, right? We're in New York. We obviously fought on the same card, me and him. Never met him before, never. Quite frosty when I met him. And I don't know him personally. I didn't know if he was just like that. We did the press conference. We sat next to each other. He was literally, I was here, he was there. Got off the press conference, and my dad said, oh, like, how was it? I said, do you know that Alex Pereira? He said, yeah. I said, he thinks he can beat me, you know. And my dad was like, what do you mean? I don't know, I can just tell. Mate, he wasn't posturing, he wasn't like trying to intimidate me or nothing. I just felt like he had in his mind, maybe I'm just making it up, I have no idea, but I've never done it with anyone before, and I'm not like that insecure guy being like, he's trying to fight me. I'm not like that at all. When I heard that he wants to move up to heavyweight, I wasn't surprised. I felt like he was like sizing me up a little bit.
Talk to me about Ciryl Gane, Alex Pereira.
First of all, Alex Pereira is an absolute generational talent. If he wins this fight, even though it's an interim title, it'll be the first person ever to win 3 different weights, which is unbelievable. He carries a lot of power at light, heavy and middle, but he's also fighting a lot smaller guys. A big factor of why he's knocking these guys out is because he's a lot bigger than him. Ciryl Gane is a massive heavyweight who moves a lot. So stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for Gane.
Which way are you going?
I would say Gane by points. I want revenge, of course.
And judging by the footage that's been circulating recently, that mentality hasn't changed at all. In fact, if anything, it looks like it's becoming even more intense. That's where Joe Rogan's reaction becomes interesting, because Rogan has spent years watching elite fighters prepare for the biggest moments of their careers. He's seen champions rise, he's seen champions fall, he's watched future legends develop before the rest of the world realized what they were looking at. When somebody with that level of experience starts paying attention to a fighter's preparation, people naturally listen. The footage itself has generated a huge amount of discussion throughout the MMA community, largely because Pereira appears to be moving with the same confidence and explosiveness that made him one of the most feared strikers in combat sports. The power is obvious, the timing is obvious, the athleticism is obvious. What has people talking, however, is the possibility that Pereira may be preparing for something much larger than simply beating Ciryl Gane.
It's gonna be stand-up war. Ain't nobody doing any shot.
Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane.
Alex Pereira is a big boy. I just saw him in Seattle. I mean, I saw him jump on the scale, 242. Shama. Obviously, Ciryl Gane has great movement. You saw what he did to Tom Aspinall. He was popping in with the jab. You know, Alex Pereira does have that calf kick that he loves to throw every single time to stop everybody's movement. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how Ciryl Gane does with the pressure that Alex Pereira brings. It's going to be stand-up war. Ain't nobody doing any shot.
Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane, I would love to see it. But Ciryl Gane hits very hard as well. And he is a heavyweight and he is light on the feet. And he's probably a better striker than anyone he fought in the light heavyweight division. Israel Adesanya, a middleweight, very, very good striker, but a middleweight, not a big heavyweight like Ciryl Gane.
What does it look like on the feet?
I don't want to say like it's going to be 100% a striking matchup. Like, this is MMA. And everybody know I can do also some wrestling, some takedown, some stuff like that. I can finish the fight also on the ground. So I'm not going to say 100% is going to be a striking matchup.
What does your striking do when it faces a guy like Alex Pereira? How do you use it to your benefit?
Everybody know already, like, I love to manage my distance. I love to move very well. I love to touch and never get touched. This is my style, the Pongaman style, like the people say.
A victory over Gane doesn't end the story. A victory over Gane begins the next chapter. The moment Pereira gets his hand raised, the conversation immediately shifts toward Tom Aspinall. Fans already know it, fighters know it, the UFC knows it. That's why every training session, every interview, and every piece of footage suddenly feels far more important than it normally would. People aren't just evaluating whether Pereira can beat Gane, they're trying to figure out whether he can eventually challenge the heavyweight champion of the world. That's a completely different discussion, and it's one that becomes more interesting every single week. Part of the reason Rogan has always found Pereira so fascinating is because he doesn't fight like somebody who's supposed to be accomplishing these things. Most fighters who move through multiple weight classes eventually hit a wall. Size becomes a problem, strength becomes a problem. The physical realities of combat sports eventually catch up with them. Pereira, on the other hand, seems determined to keep rewriting the rules.
Here's the thing, you guys, about Alex. I could spar Alex, and I could go point for point, and, I could hit him. I could kick him. But the difference is, the man touches you, and you just die.
Guys like Alex Pereira, very stoic, very serious.
I met him in Sydney. I went with my brother because he made his UFC debut, and yeah, he was kind of quiet, like.
Yeah, he's intense. I remember watching him fight for the first time in Glory in kickboxing, and I was like, Jesus Christ. His weight KOs people. I was like, this guy is different.
I was the kickboxer, okay? Right? I'm going to fight this wrestler. As soon as I throw a right hand, he's going to come under. He's going to grab my leg. I know it. He knows it. So you hesitate. You're waiting for the shot. Then all of a sudden, boom, he comes over the top with the right hand and clips you. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? You're not supposed to be doing that. You're the wrestler, right? But that's the mind games, okay? We talk about it all the time. And that's exactly what Ciryl Gane is doing here. He's just putting it out there that if a takedown does materialize, if the opportunity is there, then he's going to take it. And it's actually really smart from Ciryl Gane. It's basically him saying, listen, I'm not falling for any of these games. I'm not going to high five and go, right, come on, man. First one to shoot for a takedown is a pussy. No, because this is bigger than that. This is the opportunity to become the interim heavyweight champion of the world. If Alex Pereira can do this, interim, undisputed, it doesn't matter. He'll be a champion in 3 different weight classes, which is just mind-blowing and probably makes him the most successful mixed martial artist of all time. And that's just undeniable. And if Ciryl Gane wins, then he'll probably get a shot again against Tom Aspinall, right? For a fight that definitely needs to happen. That fight was just warming up. Obviously, we saw what happened. It was very competitive. It was only round 1. We don't know how it was going to play out. And then, of course, those double eye pokes happened, which wasn't Tom's fault, and he still can't fight yet. He's still not cleared to fight yet, which is kind of crazy given how much time has passed.
Time after time, fans have convinced themselves that a particular challenge would finally be too much. A certain opponent would be too dangerous. A certain division would be too difficult. A certain stylistic matchup would expose weaknesses nobody else had managed to exploit. Yet somehow Pereira keeps finding a way to emerge from those situations with even more momentum than he had before. That's why Ciryl Gane presents such an interesting challenge. Unlike many heavyweights, Gane isn't simply going to stand in front of Pereira and exchange power shots. His movement is exceptional. His footwork is exceptional. His ability to make elite opponents uncomfortable has been one of the defining features of his entire career. Even Tom Aspinall has previously suggested that Gane's style could create very real problems for Pereira, which is one of the reasons this fight has generated so much intrigue. What makes the matchup so difficult to predict is that both arguments make sense. On one side, you have fans looking at Pereira's power and wondering how Gane survives if he gets caught clean. On the other side, you have people studying Gane's movement and wondering whether Pereira can consistently cut off the cage against somebody so fluid and difficult to track down. The deeper you look into the fight, the harder it becomes to confidently choose a side. That's exactly why the UFC White House Card feels so important. The outcome doesn't simply determine who wins one fight. It could influence the future of the entire heavyweight division. A Pereira victory potentially creates one of the biggest fights the UFC can make. A Gane victory completely reshapes the title picture. Either result sends shockwaves through the sport. And maybe that's what Rogan sees when he watches Pereira train. Maybe he sees a fighter preparing for more than just one night. Maybe he sees a fighter preparing for a future that could include heavyweight gold. Maybe he sees a fighter preparing for Tom Aspinall. Or maybe he simply sees one of the most dangerous men in combat sports doing exactly what he's always done before another huge fight. Whatever the answer is, one thing feels certain. The closer we get to the UFC White House card, the more it feels like Alex Pereira is carrying the weight of the entire heavyweight division on his shoulders, and if the latest training footage is any indication, he's embracing that pressure rather than running from it, which is probably why so many people, including Joe Rogan, can't stop talking about him.